Hi there, and welcome to another dose of virtual vitamin Z. This is DZS News for the week of May 24th, 2021. I'm your co-host, Stephen.
And I'm your co-host, Claire. Let's jump right into some Detroit Zoological Society updates. What do we have this week, Stephen?
Well, Claire, a lot of times when people think about the Detroit Zoo, they think about all of the exotic animals they can come and observe, animals like lions, tigers, bears. But what they don't think of, but is also equally true, is that the Detroit Zoo is an incredible green space in the Metro Detroit area, which makes it a home for all sorts of local wildlife as well. And if you visit the Detroit Zoo in this season, you'll be seeing some incredible local animals like Canada geese and their goslings. You'll be seeing different sorts of migratory birds. You'll be seeing ducks. There's just so much there. And then setting all that aside, also, we have some incredible gardens and incredible forested areas with wildflowers, with other plants. So there's so much more to the Detroit Zoo than just the exotic animals. We wanted to make sure that we gave you all a heads up and shared some of these photos and videos so you can think about other ways that you can enjoy this resource in your community.
You know, Stephen, that reminds me, I was just towards the front of the zoo the other day and I saw that they had reopened and the volunteer gardeners had been in sprucing up that beautiful butterfly and hummingbird garden up towards the front of the zoo, not the one that's in the Wildlife Interpretive Gallery, but the one that's right up by the main train station. And that's one of my favorite gardens to walk through every year. So I'm super excited to see all the native pollinators who come through there here shortly, including all the butterflies that come through. So I'm very excited that spring is here, summer is almost here, and all the returning wildlife that brings with it.
Awesome. I actually didn't know that was open yet, so I'm going to be checking that out later today.
Also exciting, Tubby the tortoise is back out. Tubby lives over in the same space as the guanacos and the fallow deer, which is right across from Rackham Fountain. That's the big bear fountain in the middle of the zoo. And everybody's getting used to spending time with each other back out in that habitat. Tubby's usually pretty easy to spot. If nothing else, the rest of the fallow deer are generally staring at him to help you track him down where he might be in the space. But he's just really neat to watch as he spends his time out there grazing around in that large, expansive space.
Yeah, Claire, we have some footage showing right here. I just was fortunate enough to be out in the zoo shortly after Tubby was brought out into the habitat. And this was actually the first time I think that the fallow deer saw him because they had been moved from the Belle Isle Nature Center up to the zoo while Tubby was already in his winter habitat. And it was just really fun to see them vocalizing. And they've gotten used to each other by now, but it was some pretty fun footage to collect. Next up, we have a really exciting update on the Detroit Zoological Society blog. Since the COVID-19 pandemic started over a year ago, we've been getting questions about how the animals at the zoo responded to the temporary closure of the zoo, seeing fewer people because of reduced numbers and things like that. And while our team, our animal welfare research team in particular, noticed some changes, they're really committed to performing rigorous science. And so they didn't want to make any sorts of claims unless it was rooted in this rigorous research methods that they're using. And they've actually, Dr. Grace Fuller, the director of the Center for Zoo and Aquarium Animal Welfare and Ethics, released a blog post recently that talked a little bit about some of their findings. And I don't want to try to summarize them because they're really complex. Instead, we would just encourage you to check out that blog post. And some things you'll find out is that it's not simple. It's not as simple as all of the animals change their behaviors in the same ways. Some animals spent more time in certain habitats, others spent less time. And so it's definitely worth a read. And we are going to be interviewing Dr. Fuller in an upcoming episode of DZS News so that she can share more about the methods they used and about what they found and what it was like to do this research. So definitely check it out at the link on the screen.
You know, Stephen, I am super excited in general that the blog is back. The blog is a great opportunity for us to communicate out the work that we're doing. It offers firsthand experiences from our colleagues who are in the midst of things and doing them. Dr. Ann Duncan, our Director of Animal Health, She shares perspectives of how her team helps care for the animals. Many of our staff who have done field work out in different areas across the world and locally offer their firsthand experiences. So truthfully, there's a huge archive of information in that blog for anyone who's interested in the inner workings of how the Detroit Zoological Society operates. It's really worth a read. There's some great info in there. So I'm really excited that this is back on track and we're publishing them on a regular basis.
And I will say that Claire writes for the blog sometimes. I write for the blog sometimes. Claire's got a post that'll be coming up shortly. So be sure to keep your eyes out for that.
All right, so at the time of airing right now, there's about an hour left to vote for the Devereaux Tiger Forest for the 10 best awards. So we're going to provide the link underneath. Again, limited time period to help boost this up. We're currently in the top 10, but we'd like to finish really strong. Again, just a reminder of how incredible the Devereaux Tiger Forest is, with how large, expansive it is, and how much more space there is for the tigers in their habitat, all the sustainability initiatives that went into it, all the animal welfare initiatives that went into it, making sure that it was top notch. So again, your support is very much appreciated on that. Thanks for all the votes that have come in thus far. And we're looking forward to finishing strong in that top 10.
I didn't realize this. They actually closed the vote, or they closed the ability for people to see where the standings were in the final week. So it didn't give away the winners. So
got to build the suspense, you know?
Yep. So I'm feeling the suspense. So everybody go ahead and vote one more time, just so we can be sure we're in that top 10 in the end.
Stephen, did I miss a costume change? What's happening?
Well, Claire, at the Detroit Zoo, the Detroit Zoological Society as well, we don't just care about things like animal welfare, conservation, and sustainability. We also care about keeping it cool. For this week's feature story, we have the Keep It Cool Challenge. Now, as the spring turns into summer, the temperatures are getting warmer and warmer and warmer. And if you're like me, you're tempted to just go straight home, crank up the air conditioning, and create a nice cool space in your home. But we also realize that sometimes these decisions can be unsustainable. So for the Keep It Cool Challenge, what we would like you all to do is think about how can you keep it cool, stay cool this summer and this spring, while also practicing sustainability. And then as you think of these ideas, send them in to us at education@dzs.org, and we may feature your ideas on a future DZS News episode.
I'm excited about this. I'm already thinking of some different ideas. We're sending in pictures here too, Stephen?
I think pictures, videos, yeah, whatever, because honestly, I need it. It's getting a little bit warm for me, so I need as many ideas as I can get.
Fabulous. As always, let's launch into the virtual education program preview for the week. We are starting you off on Monday at 11 a.m. with DZS News, episode 21. Is it episode 21 of the year already?
Episode 21 of the year, yeah.
It's flying by.
We are cruising through. Next up, we have a Saving Wildlife episode on the black-crowned night herons, which, among other things, is one of the coolest names for a bird I have ever heard.
On Wednesday morning, we have a virtual habitat chat for you featuring the Water Monitor habitat. And just a reminder, that's a brand new, newly expanded, completely renovated space. So be sure to tune in on that one and get all the insider information.
After that, the Green Journey episode of the week is on single-use plastics and how we can find alternatives to using those.
And we will wrap the week up on Friday with our short film project, continuing to share out some short films talking about animals and climate change. And this week, we'll be focusing on sea otters.
And as a reminder, in addition to our virtual vitamin Z episodes that we share on Facebook, we have some incredible resources on both the Detroit Zoo's website and the Belle Isle Nature Center's website, like the Belle Isle Nature Center's virtual backyard, which offers videos, tips, tricks for connecting with those animals who share your spaces and taking actions to help them out.
We also have more than 50 different ready-to-go activities that are available on demand for anyone to download for free. These are great things to start putting in your back pocket here, especially if you've got young people that you're going to be in charge of over the course of the summer. That inevitable second day of summer vacation when they start telling you that they're bored. Most of them are filled with activities that you can do from resources around the house, and a great way to engage the young people. Actually, you can do it with the whole family. So all those resources are there and available.
Yeah, so a lot of these resources were resources that we developed when people were staying at home and families were together watching, these episodes. And so they're really designed in a way that was really well done by our education team that differentiates the activities so that learners of all different skill levels can participate together.
And just thinking about your Keeping Cool challenge, I'm thinking of two off the top. One of them was ice cube painting, and the other one was iceberg popsicles. Those are both in there, and great ways to cool off there right in the virtual vitamin Z lessons.
Maybe viewers can try those out and send us pictures of them.
You know what? Maybe next week I'll bring us iceberg popsicles that we can, share on air.
That would be wonderful. Well, that's all for this week's DZS News episode. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. We will see you next week. Until then, stay healthy, Detroit.